All right, well, I think we're good to go. So let's just do a quick rundown one more time. This is Ivion. I'm Aislyn. Hi, I'm one of the co-creators. Aaron's here too. He is one of the co-creators. Say hi, Aaron.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, so I am a disembodied voice because we spent a long time trying to get the video working. Uh, we're probably going to work on that again after this to
Yeah,
make the other streams more interesting.
yeah.
But
Neither
for
of us
now,
are streamers, so we've never done this before. So we're still trying to figure out how to do this.
Aaron, we're totally streamers
Right,
by
you're right.
definition
We've done this
because
before.
we're streaming right now.
You're right. Good
But
point.
anyways, we have the Ivion table all set up on Tabletop Simulator. It's all here. We've got a bunch of components from the game. Uh, and yeah, we're just gonna play through a game of the knight versus the lady from that box, the knight and the lady.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron's gonna be playing the knight, quote unquote, which is an errant deck. And the errant is an aggressive fighter in melee range that likes to charge in, deal a bunch of damage really fast, and just kind of end the game before anyone else can handle it. And I'm going to be playing the lady, quote unquote, which is an enchantress character who's going to be trying to manipulate Aaron and get him away from me and control the game and win a little more slowly. So, for those of you who don't know, Ivion is a 2 versus 2 fighting game where you take control of fantasy characters that have a bunch of really powerful spells and attacks and counters. And you fight on a 4x4 grid to the death, to the death, um, to see who can win.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and if any of you have any questions about the game or questions about the Kickstarter project or really questions about anything, we're gonna be here for quite some time, and we're happy to answer anything you might want to know. Also, this is our first time streaming, so let us know if anything is way too loud, not clear, or if the lighting is funky. Really, all of that is going to help us smooth out these little kinks and make our future streams better and better. Um,
Absolutely.
with that, I think we are good to go. So, this is Ivian. Let's get our do our like first setup sort of things.
Yes. And I'm just going to read a comment or two real quick because we actually have some. So that's kind of neat.
Oh, great. And yeah,
My dear.
I don't have another monitor or anything, so I can't see these Twitch comments that are coming in because I'm in the laundry room right now. So normally I'm set up right next to Aislyn, but not right now. So Aislyn's gonna have to read out comments. So go for
That's
it.
the plan. That's the plan. So, My Dear Glacier said, the game seems really cool. Good job. Thank you, My Dear Glacier. There are 6 colors, but they're not really equally divided in the 3 Kickstarter products. Green, gray, and black seem to be less prevalent. Any thoughts on that? Yes. So, there are 6 colors in Evian. In the first product, Winter Storm, we equally represented those 6 colors, more or less. However, because each color gets so much attention when we make a new class and new specializations, new characters essentially, and add a bunch of more cards, um, we couldn't feasibly print that much again. And we also wanted to focus more on like really high production quality. So now these new boxes have miniatures and a board and like a really nice rule book and learn to play and they're just overall like there's way more thought put into the presentation. So we had kind of had to scale back in that regard. However, we would love to kind of do a second pass at this representation, this version of the game that basically focuses on green, gray, and black
I think
at another time.
I think another detail. What you said is pretty much accurate, Aislinn. But I think it's a little weird if especially if you're coming from a game like Magic: The Gathering, where there are 5 colors and every color needs to be equally represented. And it's strange if they don't do that. Like for example, the Apocalypse set in Magic: The Gathering didn't do that. Um, in Ivian, it's a little different because
Yeah.
When you have a class, that is perfectly compatible with everything else. It's a standalone experience, and it has to be a single color. And since the minimum like size of a class is 20 cards, in order to make a product that that has every color, that's a lot of cards. And in Ivion, we wanted to make something a little smaller for our next expansion. We completely want to do the other three colors shortly after. That is pretty much our next goal. We never want it to be uneven for long. I think it's just exacerbated right now because this is our first expansion. But hopefully that answers your question. We kind of ramble a bit.
We do. We're a little bit of ramblers. I think to say it a little more succinctly is we don't have that representation right now. We always plan to balance it out as more products get released. Like
Right.
that's always the goal.
Okay. So should
Also, Kitty Cat B says, "You're quiet, Aaron." We probably should have addressed that first.
okay. Well, all right. We're going to yoink me up to
Oh, while you're handling that,
here.
I'm going to read another comment from Mightier Glacier. He said,
Okay.
would I be correct in understanding that colors matter less than archetypes in practice? And the answer is yes, you are
Yes.
correct.
Absolutely.
Archetypes, characters, specializations, whatever you want to call them, are way more relevant than whatever color they're associated with for the most part.
Yeah. Absolutely correct. Um, I think my voice should be better. Let me know in the comments. But should we get started?
Yeah, let's play some Avian. I
Yeah.
think that sounds pretty cool.
All right. So I think the first step is let's flip this coin, get it over with. For the last 8 games of Vivian so far, I have failed every single coin flip. We're gonna go with tails today, Aislyn. Flip it.
Tails. Don't you always go with tails? All right, here we go. Flip.
Good
Oh.
God, I hate the way that Tabletop Simulator does its coin flips. I believe Berserk
No, they're
Games.
great. They're great.
I believe that Berserk Games has probably made it so it's like a random vector that does the spin, and it's perfectly fair. But I don't know. I think it's out to get me. But okay, your heads. I assume you're gonna want to go
Yep,
first.
I will.
All
Yeah,
right.
so the first thing you do in a game of Vivian is, well, after you have your deck and everything else set up, is you flip to see who goes first.
Yep.
Um,
So I'm playing the Errant, and Aislyn is the Enchantress. So we can take our little health trackers and set them up on the side here.
yeah, and something I want to point out about that's actually really neat is that this board, if we want to just remove these for a brief moment to kind of show people, the board has a little cutout. So it's not actually a perfect square. You're going to be sliding your health tracker into the board. So every single time you play with a different character, you're going to have different health trackers, and they have different hit point values to kind of represent that. So your board looks a little bit different every time.
Yeah, in the original product, we had this as two 10-sided die because we were thinking, hey, then you can have that display any number between 0 and 99 starting hit points. That works, right? Well, messing with dice and flipping them is really fiddly. So pretty much our like number one requested change from the first expansion to the first product to the second was, hey, don't use dice if you're not going to be rolling them. They're not very good at you know being used as trackers. So yeah, we've changed a lot of things to sliders and tokens, and it plays a lot nicer. Uh, so I'm gonna put my
Absolutely.
heart token up here on
Oh, I'm going to do that too.
40. All right.
And I'm on 39. I start with one less hit points. Dang it. I'm already losing.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
All right, and then let's place our figures on the board. So
Yep. So we're going to start at opposite corners of this board from one another, and it's kind of hard to tell, but there is a 4x4 grid on this board, kind of represented by these little dotted white outlines.
yeah,
Each tile is shaped like a playing card because we can put cards in these tiles and change the board as we're playing.
right, and this is designed to fit sleeved cards, so it should all work just fine. We did all the measurements for that. Um,
Crunched
but
all the numbers.
yeah.
Checked all the boxes. Cool. So yeah, first thing we're going to do here, not first thing, I guess this is like the third or fourth thing at this point, but we're going to draw 5 cards from our deck, and I actually have to select a color. That's pretty important. Okay, I'm a player now. Cool. So I have a hand of 5 cards. Aaron's got a hand of 5 cards. I'm going first. So
Oh,
I am going to go through the start of turn real quick. Okay, so first actions I take on the start of my turn is I'm going to gain 3 actions, which are these little orangish lightning bolts, and put them in the action area of my board. That's where we keep track of the actions.
hey, Aislyn,
Yeah.
can you set your team to something so I can join your team and take a look?
But then you're going to cheat and look at my
I
cards.
will. So if you could set your team to diamonds.
Oh, yeah, yeah, right. We have to be on the same team.
Yep. All right, we're
Okay,
gonna get a.
diamonds. Cool. So now Aaron can see my hand, kind of what I have available to me.
Going to save that. Okay.
Cool. So yeah, gaining 3 action tokens. You do that at the start of every turn, whenever you begin your turn. And you use action tokens to move. You use action tokens to play cards. It's kind of like the lifeblood of how you play and interact with the game. I also gain an initiative token every turn, which we'll talk about a bit more later. And because specifically I am an enchantress, I have one of these, what we call feats, like permanent cards, hero powers from Hearthstone, if you've ever played that. We've got 3 cards here on the side that kind of help define my character. And one of them is enchanting. And this is the quote unquote ultimate of the Enchantress. It's something that the Enchantress character always has. Um, and it's a passive. So I don't have to play it or anything. It just kind of happens. And at the start of each of my turns, I get to make a tile near me Enchanted Terrain.
Right.
Um,
And Enchanted Terrain is the terrain type in this expansion. It's pretty simple. When you make a tile Enchanted Terrain, you put a little Enchanted Terrain token on it. When either player enters that tile, you remove that Enchanted Terrain, and you gain a power. So,
yes.
yeah.
And so
So that
this
triggers
has,
right now.
it does,
Yep.
yes. So I get to make any tile near me Enchanted Terrain. And any tile near me is a tile. Uh, you can't see my arrows, can you?
Oh,
Or
we
maybe you
can.
can.
Yeah.
Oh, you can. Awesome. Yeah. So this is me, the Enchantress. And near me is this tile or the tile I'm in. So I get to choose any of those. I might end up moving forward. Maybe not. Who knows? But I will place my Enchanted Terrain right there. So this is now a little enchanted space because I'm an Enchantress. Who would have thought? Um, yeah, so that's like all I got to do to start my turn. Now it's all about beating my opponent. However, I'm a longer range character. Aaron is a shorter range character. That generally means that I want him to come to me. I
Yeah.
don't need to like play aggressively and get up to him.
So the way
So
that Aislyn knows that she's a longer range character is this number right under the action symbol there on the top left, that green box kind of right here, that indicates the range of a card. And in Ivion, a range is determined by how many tiles away. And it's important to note that one tile, this is range 2, because in Ivion, let's see if I can remember how to do this in, oh man, I swear, Tabletop Simulator is its own like language or little. Oh man, I don't remember how to. I know there's a way. It's like
real quick, Mightier Glacier asked, that passive is not optional, is it? And the answer is no, it's not. If it were optional, it would say you may make a tile near you, Enchanted Terrain, but it does not. So it is a requirement.
yeah, and it is relevant because Enchanted Terrain can potentially help your opponent. Uh, it's possible we change that in the future. I don't think it's that likely. Uh, The only reason we would is for memory purposes, so you don't have to always remember that trigger. Oh, as
Right.
I was saying about range, this is range 1, this is range 2. So range is orthogonally, so like so you can't measure diagonally.
Yep. It's just orthogonal. Anyways. Oh, my dear Glacier asks, if you put the Enchanted Terrain in your own tile, do you get its effects immediately or when you next enter it? So Enchanted Terrain triggers when you enter. So you would have to leave that tile and then re-enter it to gain it.
Right.
You can't just like pop Enchanted Terrain tokens into your mouth and gain power.
You know,
You have to maneuver around the board. And that was intentional because we wanted to create more dynamic movement in the game to kind of compel people to move around more consistently. But yeah, so I'm gonna actually try to move the game along here because I've been sitting around. So I've got a lot of stuff that can interact with Aaron. Like I said, he's a melee character, so I'm probably gonna end up letting him come to me. Because of that, I can focus on gaining power to be ready for when he comes. I do actually have a nice card in my hand that can help me with that. Rip Magic. It doesn't necessarily deal any damage to Aaron, but it will give me a lot of power fairly cheaply. But there's kind of a cost. I either have to rip the magic from the ground itself by destroying, for example, Enchanted Terrain, or I have to like destroy my own deck a little bit. So I think because I'm an Enchantress, this card really, really works well for me because I always make Enchanted Terrain. So I'm going to play Rip Magic. And so because this is our first stream, let's just kind of like go through how playing a card works kind of in detail.
Yeah, sure. So, oh, sorry, do you want to go for it?
Yeah, sure, I can talk about it. Yeah, so we have two numbers at the very top of this card. We have the orange number, we got the blue number. Orange on the left is -1. So that means that I have to spend one of my action tokens to play this. So immediately when I play this card, I lose this action token. It's gone. If this card resolves, which it will, because there's nothing Aaron can do, he's not within range. I will gain whatever power it gives, or lose whatever power it gives, because some cards cost power. It's kind of a dynamic system in that regard. However, I do have to fulfill one of the requirements here on Rip Magic, which is to either mill myself or remove terrain. Because I'm an Enchantress and I have Enchanted Terrain, I will be removing that. I'm ripping the magic from the ground. So after this card resolves, I gain 3 power. So these are nifty. They're flips, so I can just flip them over. Then I'm going to put 2 more here. And boom, I spent 1 action, 1 orange lightning bolt, and gained 3 power, which are the 3 blue diamonds. Now, because it's finished, it goes into my discard, which I'm just going to put right there. That's my little discard pile. So yeah, that's kind of like the super basics of playing a card and how that kind of functions. Now, what else am I going to do? Well, I have this little initiative token like we talked about. I get one of these every turn, and it's important to note that I can keep these lightning bolts and diamonds, the actions and power, between turns. Like I'm not going to lose them every turn. I can save them. However, the little initiative token, the compass looking thing, I will lose that if I don't spend it. So I need to decide what to do with it every turn. And what it does is I can spend it by just kind of moving it to the side to either draw a card or move 1 tile. And again, like we were talking about, I don't need to be aggressive against Aaron, so I'm just going to choose to draw a card with it. So I get an extra card in my hand. I drew an attack, so I can't play that against Aaron right now because I have to get within range first. So instead, I think I am going to play defensively and just pass to Aaron. Pass it off.
Right. So, yeah, so it is now my turn. So Aislyn kind of demonstrated I think a pretty I think key idea in Ivion is you can save resources between turns up to a maximum of 5 of either, which means very often you don't benefit very much by going below 2 actions, because Aislyn on her next turn will have 5 actions, which gives her a lot of options if she needs to, react to an instant, or she can open up with a huge assault. Generally, saving resources is very, very useful. In fact, probably the most common new player mistake is on their first turn. They have a bunch of attacks in their hand. They're not within range, so they spend their initiative to move, and they spend 3 actions to move right up, and they just go, 1, 2, 3, 4. They've done all. Essentially, what they've done is they've done all of the work for their opponent, who now can just
Aha, thank
come
you for
in.
getting within range, Aaron.
Exactly. So yeah, Ivion. A lot of times it's smarter to circle. Kind of get your resources built up before going in and engaging. All
Yeah, and that's
right.
just another good opportunity to mention that Ivion is a pretty competitive game. Like, it's fairly tight. You got to play tight and play to win. You got to fight.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
and giving your opponent advantages like that can be potentially devastating.
All right. So what have I got here? So I have a lot of attacks in my hand. Actually, I think I've only got 2. Um, they are range 1, which I am far from doing. I've got Judgment, Cry Havoc, and Proclaim. Okay, well, right off the bat, I'm not going to be able to play these range 1 cards, or even this range 2 card. So I'm really looking at these 2 cards in my hand for right now, because those are the ones I can potentially play. We are going to start by playing Proclaim. So Proclaim is a pretty powerful card. It only costs 1 action and generates 2 power. So that's usually a very nice return. Most classes have 1 or 2 of these cards that generate more power than they cost, and they're very common to put into a deck. This one is going to resolve because not only is Aislyn completely on the other side of the field, but I also know exactly what's in her hand, which is really helpful. But
Because you're a cheater. Because you're
right,
looking at my hand.
exactly. So I play Proclaim, which gives me Chivalrous. And that's represented by putting this little token in front of me. This is the primary mechanic of Knights. Knights are chivalrous, and what this says is, at the start of your turn, you heal 2 hit points. However, that's only as long as you maintain the Code of Chivalry, which is basically not playing like a blue player in Magic. Uh, to be chivalrous, you can never move away from an enemy. You can never play you can can't play cards on their turn. You can't play sneaky deceptive tricks or anything. And finally, if somebody is affected by some sort of crowd control like slow, silence, or disarm, you can't target them or you'll lose chivalry, because your opponent's got to be prepared and ready to fight you, or it's not a worthy challenge.
You cannot strike an opponent unable to defend themselves, as of course the laws of chivalry dictate.
Exactly. But for now, I'm mostly looking for getting the power. Chivalry's nice, but yeah.
And see, guys, this is good for me because he's following this ridiculous code, right? Like, I don't care about this code. I'm just here to win.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go, Team Enchantress.
Oh, you knave! We're marching into this forest to, I guess, defeat you. I don't know. I don't really think the Errant's in the right here, but I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that. You know what? No, you are a enchanting witchcraft using heathen or heretic. I don't know. Is magic illegal in this realm?
It's not, no.
So what
It's not illegal,
what is
but
the Enchantress doing that the knights are against?
Well, in Calbria, since you asked, wizards, which kind of use more like bluish, purpley magic, are uh, they use it like within the laws of the realm. Like they have academies, they have official places that people go to practice magic. But the sorcerers and the enchantresses and the invokers who use more of a reddish, angry magic, this is now a lore stream apparently. They take it from the earth, and it causes problems. It causes weird things to happen, and it's bad. And so it's been forbidden. Don't do that stuff. Not good. However, I've decided as an enchantress that I don't care because I want power. And that's not acceptable to a chivalrous lad such as Errant, who has now come out to my forest to slay me, which is not cool, but apparently it's chivalrous.
Exactly. On that note, I have gotten down to the 2 actions, so I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. I'm going to pass the turn to you, Aislyn.
Okay, cool. So you might have noticed that I kept 2 actions myself, and that was because 2 actions is the maximum number of actions you can keep to go up to the maximum on the next turn, which is 5, because you gain 3 actions every turn. So now I have the maximum amount, and this is also a good time to point out that all control, so slow, silence, and disarm, the green, blue, and red tokens over here, as well as the action and power resource tokens, the lightning bolts and the diamonds, have a maximum of 5. So any one player can have up to 5 actions, up to 5 power, up to 5 of any of those instances of control affecting them at any time. Any more than that is forbidden strictly by the rules. However, Mightier Glacier just asked, Invoker can have more than 5 power, but is there any specialization that can have more than 5 actions? No, I don't think we have any way in the game right now where you can get more than 5 actions.
No, yeah, I don't think so. Not yet. Oh, that would be really scary. There are ways to gain more than 3 actions a turn. But no way of of increasing that cap. Not that it can't happen eventually. We just haven't made a card that does that.
And as Mightier Glacier pointed out, future design space, write
Yeah,
it down. So
exactly.
we actually do have documents where we keep these kind of ideas. So
I
I'll
will
put it on there.
I will say, my gut reaction is some card that says you can save up actions. It sounds absolutely horrifying. But I think there's some wiggle room there. There's some cute design space. I think we could not no promises, but we could do something with that someday. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like one of the really cool things about the game, just like any other expandable card game, is that the game is designed to be very customizable and wildly different from expansion to expansion.
Right.
And because we have these clear characters that we kind of imbue with a lot of life and energy and personality, we can make really vivid and distinct play styles, which is super fun to explore. But anyways, kind of going off on a tangent there. Yeah,
Like you
so I
do.
gained my 3 actions. I still have some more base things to do. Gain an initiative. And every turn I get to draw a card as well as one of the core actions. Oh, and I'm enchanting. So I get to place my Enchanted Terrain. So once again, I'm going to place it here. And I'm ready to start my turn. Let's see. Errant still hasn't moved towards me. However, he's going to start burning actions next turn if he doesn't do something, which is in my favor. So I'm going to play Flare. So this is a -1 action, +1 power. So first of all, I'm just going to do that resource swap real quick. It's range 2, which is an important thing to note here because I get to make target tile Enchanted Terrain. So whenever a card asks for a target, like target opponents, target tile, target card, what have you, it's obeying the range of the card, which is that green number just below the orange one. Like we were talking about earlier, ranges counted orthogonally. So I couldn't target like here, for example, but I could count like 1, 2 and hit there, or count 1, 2 and hit that tile as well, or any tile closer to me. This isn't a particularly important choice, I would argue, but good time to explain range. Anyways, so I'm going to make a target tile Enchanted Terrain.
All right.
The next one I'm going to make, I think, is going to be right here, just right next to me so I can surround myself. And then after Flares into the discard, which is happening right now, I get to stun each opponent. They get stunned by the beautiful flare that passes by.
Yep.
And what stun does is it's kind of a default keyword that a lot of cards have is whoever has been stunned loses a resource of their choice.
Right.
And what a resource specifically is either an action or a power. So Aaron gets to decide whether he's going to lose an action or a power.
Right. And I got rid of a power there.
Okay, you lost a power. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to note that if someone only has power or only has an action, they must choose to lose the resource that they actually have.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I played Flare. You know, I have a ton of resources, so I feel like I'm kind of itching like to do something. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet, but we're gonna figure it out. So first of all, I'm gonna use my initiative to draw a card again because more cards is always good. Ooh, I like that. That's a good one. That's a good one because I can start gaining some board control, which is really what I want to start doing as an Enchantress here. So I am gonna play it. I'm gonna play out Hush. Okay, so first of all, we lose 1 action, we gain 1 power. We're now up to the maximum of 5 power, so we need to start doing something with that. This card attaches to an empty tile, so I can start manipulating the board, kind of changing the play area that we're in here. It's an offensive control card, so whenever Aaron is near Hush, at the end of my turn, I get to silence him, which is a type of control, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that soon. But for now, I'm just going to place it here. So I'm going to turn it sideways and put it into the little white circle to kind of show that we have changed the board. But yeah, so I don't have to do anything with that anymore with that. What else to do? You know, I have another passive that I want to utilize, so let's do that. I'm going to straight up spend an action to move 1 tile, which you can do any number of times during your turn. And I'm going to move my character 1 tile towards this Enchanted Terrain. So there's a few things that happen here. First of all, we do the default Enchanted Terrain functionality, which is we remove it, I gain a power. However, I'm at the maximum of 5, so I can't gain a power. So nothing happens in that regard, except the Enchanted Terrain is removed. And I also have a passive called Majesty, which says after I enter terrain, which I did, that was Enchanted Terrain, for the first time during my turn, I get to stun each opponent. So I blind Aaron with my majestic presence.
You just walk through those trees so well. It's captivating so much that I lose this power right here.
So much. You know, maybe you didn't even know I was here. And then I just kind of walked through this clearing and light was shining out and you were just awed by my presence.
And then after the slow-mo scene of me watching you majestically walk through these autumn leaves, I determine that you must die, I suppose, for being a wicked enchantress. No being could be that gorgeous without foul magic.
Clearly, there's something nefarious at play here.
So this deck that Aislyn is running has a lot of effects that are really, I guess, very controlly. She has a lot of stun at her disposal, as you can see from Majesty, Flare, and also Warp Fire. In this matchup, it is really a kind of a irresistible force versus an immovable object. Aislyn is going to be trying to gum up the board with a lot of controlly tile modifiers, and then just try to sap my resources with stuns and then counter any cards that I was able to afford. My goal is to kill her as quickly as possible, which I'm not doing a great job of yet, but
Oh, you'll get there.
I'll
You'll
get
get there.
there. I'll get there.
I think that's actually it for me for my turn.
Oh,
So I'm gonna
great.
pass to you, and then I'm gonna be right back really fast. I trust you. I'm not gonna play any instance. You got this.
Okay, so you heard it here first. Aislyn is not going to play any instance, so this is our opportunity to attack her. I don't think that's going to actually happen. Okay, so uh, I get to draw a card, which is cut down. Okay, that's another attack. We're going to go put it over here with our attacks. We gain 3 actions, and we gain an initiative. If we had taken damage, we would have gained 2 life from Chivalry, but we're pretty far away from her. That's not too relevant. Okay, so immediately the first option I see is that which one is it? Camera 1. Okay, I gotta. These are not very organized. So I could just spend an initiative to move here and then go straight up here and be able to attack her. That would cost 1 initiative and 1, 2, 3 of my 5 actions. Is that worth it? I'm not convinced it is, because then I have 2 actions. I would be able to play Daring Strike, Enchanted Strike, Cut Down for a total of 5, 9, 13 damage. Yeah, I just don't think that's worth it, knowing that she's at 2 actions and 5 power. Regardless of the fact that I know what's in her hand, I think I think we're going to be ignoring our range 1 stuff for now, which means we're looking at Judgment and Cry Havoc. Judgment is range 2, which I think is probably reasonable to approach. Now, Aislyn was pretty smart by taking this tile modifier and putting it right here. In Ivion, it's really important to have control over the center 4 tiles, because that gives you a lot. It gives you a lot more options of directions to go. Uh, and by putting Hush here, she has made it a better move for me to move up to this space here so that I'm not near Hush, which is going to silence me if I end my turn near it. So I think that's the first thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to spend an initiative to move 1. Then I'm going to spend 2 actions to move 1, 2. Move up here. All right. So we are now within range that we can play one of our cards. Now, I believe Judgment is one of the most busted night cards right now.
No, it's great.
It is basically, I don't know. I think this card usually ends up dealing like 8 damage, or worst comes to worst, they spend a card that destroys cards to remove it, which is usually pretty good because decks rarely run more than 6 of those. So we're gonna just spend an action, play out Judgment, targeting you, Aislyn.
Yes, hello, and I'm back, and I don't like being judged. That's not very cool. But you know, this is a really rough card. Aaron described it well. It's pretty bad for me, especially because I'm an enchantress and I rely a lot on some underhanded tricks to win the game. So I actually have kind of a plan here.
Oh, okay. You said you weren't gonna respond. I guess I just wasn't quick enough. Okay,
Well,
well,
I've come back now, and
you have
turns out an
returned.
enchantress can't be trusted.
Oh, yeah, I guess not. This is why the king has ordered your death.
The king ordered my death?
And
Okay.
he did. I talked to I
Genius.
talked to him this morning. He's like, that woman in the forest, she's too pretty. You just gotta get rid of her so the other gorgeous ladies can stand a chance. I don't know.
That's
I'm
not
the
very,
king.
I don't think
That's what
that's
he
a real
said.
crime.
That's a quote. Okay. So what are you gonna play in response to Judgment?
Well, you're going to try to judge me, and I'm going to lash out. So I'm going to say no.
Right. So in order to play that, she spends 2 power.
Yes. So I'm going to put that power on the card to kind of show that
Why don't you?
I'm playing it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that costs 2 power.
Yeah.
And I get to travel each other character.
Well, hang on. You played the card. Yes. If it resolves, what happens?
If it resolves, um, I get to travel each other character 1 tile away from me and then draw a card. If it resolves, of course.
Did you just go close your door?
No.
Huh. Sorry, I
I
was
got a
thinking.
letter.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So if it resolves, which I feel like it will because Aaron's chivalrous. Plus, I can see his hand, so I guess I'm cheating too.
Shush.
If it resolves, I get to travel him away from me, and that might not necessarily immediately parse as like something that will stop this from happening. But we're going to see how that will actually prevent Aaron from playing Judgment on me.
Yeah, so I can walk through that. So she is right. I don't actually have a response. I was just being snarky. Lash Out does resolve. So first thing that's going to happen, because this is kind of like a stack in Magic, and for those of you who don't know, what happens when you play cards in games like this is you play a card, but its effects don't happen immediately. Um, if your opponent says, wait, hold on, I'm going to play something in response. So before I have an opportunity to have Judgment's effects resolve, Aislyn played a instant card. You can tell a card is instant by this little I was pointing at the screen. Whoops. This little purple exclamation point. That means that a card can be played in response to somebody. Normally, cards, for example, Judgment, can't. They don't have that little ability. So, now she's played this card, and now I have a turn to respond with my own instant. And if we take a look at my hand, I do have an instant in Swordplay. However, that's range 1, and so I'm not within range, so I wouldn't be able to play it. It's possible if I had done a few different things on my turn, I might have been able to hold that up, but I went with this, and we're going to see how that plays out. So, Lash Out resolves. What happens?
Yeah, so Lash Out resolves. I get to travel. Well, I just go through the rules text from top to bottom. So I'm going to travel each other character 1 tile away from me. So, like we were talking about, movement is orthogonal. So when a card asks you to travel someone away from you, they just have to end in a tile that was further from you than you began. So right now, Aaron's 2 tiles away from me. So I can move him here, actually. And now he's 3 tiles away from me. So he's been pushed. Then I get to draw a card. So that's just kind of a little extra bonus. These resources are Gonzo. Don't have them anymore.
Gonzo.
Thank you for the power. Other
Thank you,
cards.
Muppets. Okay.
Is that from the Muppets? I didn't even.
Gonzo, I think, is the weird-looking bird friend of Rizzo. It's Rizzo and Gonzo, I believe.
Rizzo and Gonzo. Cool.
So
Yeah, so now Aaron's card tries to resolve, but it has
right,
to check its conditions again. So it has to check if he's controlled. He wasn't controlled, he's not silenced. But he was moved out of range because Judgment has range 2. Now he's at range 3. It's no longer a valid card to play, which means that it gets what we call meta countered.
right. So essentially, a card has to meet the requirements for it to be played, which is it has to be within range and you have to not be affected by control, which we'll talk about when that comes up. But for the most part, for this case, I was able to play Judgment because I was within range. I am no longer able to resolve Judgment because I am now too far away. When that happens, instead of the card resolving, it instead doesn't. It goes to my discard, and I get refunded the resources I spent to play the card, which for me is 1 action, which I'm going to put right there.
So that's kind of like the consolation prize, I guess you could think of it as, because you lost your card, which sucks. but you get a resource or, the resources you spent back.
Right.
So you can do other things with your turn.
Right. It'd be a little bit like how it'd be a little bit like if in Magic if a card got countered and you got to untap the lands that you spent to play that card or get that mana back.
Right.
Um
So that was like a whole big hugabaloo that we had regarding judgment. However, it's still Aaron's turn, so he gets to keep going at this point.
correct. So I guess I am at 3 actions, so I do. Well, actually, I was thinking, and I was going to say, I should move so that I end my turn at 2 actions. So I don't, on my next turn, lose an action. Because if I started my turn with 3 actions, I would only be able to gain 2 actions because the maximum number of actions is 5. However, Aislyn has shown me, and she does have the feat Majesty. She's shown me that she is more than capable of doing a lot of stun on her turn.
That's
So
right.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pass the turn here, as I'm fairly certain that I'm probably going to get stunned at some point during her turn, which would make me lose a resource, and then I would be no worse for wear. So might as well just save my resources because I'm in a fine state.
That's a really good point. That's a good strategy, using your resources as a buffer like that.
Yes. So I think with that, I'm going to pass the turn to you, Aislyn.
All right, so going through the start of turn steps, we're going to gain 3 actions, go back up to the maximum of 5. We're going to gain an initiative token like we always do. And I'm going to draw a card. And then finally, because I'm an Enchantress, I'm going to place Enchanted Terrain. And this time, where do I want it? I could move back. I could move forward. I could go up. Let's put it right here. I like that. I'm thinking about maybe being a little aggressive. I'm feeling capable. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to spend my initiative this time to move a tile instead of spending an action. So I'm going to go here. This Enchanted Terrain gets removed. I gain a power. And I have my passive Majesty, which stuns Errant. So that gets rid of his buffer action.
Yep. Oh, whoops. I accidentally deleted...
Let's try undoing that real quick.
Yep. We're going to put
there
that
we go.
right back.
Cool. So you lose the action.
No. Undoing removed all of my camera presets. That's annoying.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's too bad. But that's easy enough. I can organize them maybe a little better this time.
Perfect. All right, I'll keep going then while you're up to that.
Go for it. You're just going to see some twists and turns.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So now I have some attack cards in my hand now that I can probably use to cause some damage. So first of all, I think I'm actually going to lead with this card here, Wither. So this is a -1/+1, range 2, so I'm within range. It disarms Errant, so it gives him one of the 3 different types of control. Also very thematic because I'm making this knight bend the knee. That's what you get for trying to come into my forest.
Whoops.
So first of all, I spend an action, I gain the power, and then I'm going to disarm 2 Errant. So what this means is Errant has to take 2 disarm tokens and put them in front of him.
Yes.
So now we can talk. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and since I don't have anything at range 2, I'm just going to have this resolve. So I get 2 of these and I discard a card, which I guess I'll do right now. I think we're going to discard...
Choices.
We're going to discard Swordplay, and I guess I'll talk about why I did that in a little bit on my turn. For now, let's talk about control. Do you want to go for it, Aislyn?
Yeah, sure. So Errant got 2 instances of control, and like I mentioned earlier, there's a maximum of 5 of each of these types, so they can go above 1. However, as long as you're affected by at least one of each of these different things, you're considered disarmed or slowed or silenced. Those are the 3 different types. Aaron has disarm on him. So what this means is whenever Aaron wants to play a card, he has to check the little control banner in the bottom left. This little banner has those three symbols, the slow, silence, and disarm, respectively. And for each different card, different symbols are colored. So on Enchanted Strike, the one Aaron is showing us right now, the silence, which is the paper, and the sword, which is disarm, are colored in. So that means you can't play Enchanted Strike if you are silenced or disarmed. So currently, Aaron cannot play Enchanted Strike because I just disarmed him with Wither. His bones have been turned to ash, so he can no longer strike me until
my
he
bones.
recovers. Your bones.
My arms are gone, so I cannot use Enchanted Strike.
That's right. But yeah, so of course, you're going to need to get rid of control. So how do you get rid of control? Well, first of all, you can just straight up spend one resource during your turn to remove one instance of control from yourself
Right,
as
so
many times as you want.
for example, I could spend an action to get rid of a disarm if I wanted to.
Right. However, there is a more efficient way to get rid of control, which kind of helps you maneuver out of difficult situations pretty well, which is whenever you spend a resource in any way. So whenever you spend a resource to play a card, whenever you spend a resource to move, et cetera, that resource spent goes towards removing an instance of control as well. So if Aaron, for example, played Cry Havoc, which costs him one action, when that card resolved, he would get to remove one instance of control from himself.
You said the old rules. It's
Oh,
not.
you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
You're
We
right. I'm
changed
wrong.
that. We changed that.
I'm wrong. Sorry. Minor correction. Immediately when you play the card, not when it resolves.
When I play the
So
card, I've spent that
when Aaron,
resource and it goes away.
yes, it goes away immediately. But yeah, so Cry Havoc also would generate one power for Aaron. So like he could use that power to remove the second instance. It kind of gives you some breathing room to get out of this stuff if you sequence your turn right.
Right.
And
So to fully play through that example, so if I played Cry Havoc here and I had 2 disarm, I would spend an action because that is what Cry Havoc costs to play. I can play Cry Havoc because it's not affected by disarm. See how this
yeah,
red sword is not colored in. That means it's not affected by it. So I'm able to play this. Since I spent a resource to play it, I have spent a resource. Anytime I spend a resource, I get to get rid of that much control. So I spent one resource, I get to get rid of one control. When Cry Havoc resolves, I get a power, since it generates a power up there. See how there's that little plus symbol. Great. So this would then go to the discard and do whatever it says. And then I could then spend that power I just gained to get rid of the second disarm. So ultimately, I've started this with 2 actions, and I went down to 1 action, and got rid of 2 pieces of control. So that's sort of the kind of lines you have to be thinking about when you want to play this game on a more like competitive level.
yeah, but you don't always have to be doing that. I mean,
No, absolutely not. And there are a lot of ways to get rid of control. Some are just more tricky and efficient than others.
right. There's definitely a lot of ways to like find your way through the game to play really, really optimally.
So at that, Wither does resolve. I've
Yeah,
discarded
I
a
guess we're
card.
gonna leave this like hypothetical
Yeah,
world we entered.
yeah. We'll have
Yeah,
lots of opportunities to discuss the subtleties of control during this stream and other streams.
for sure. And it always kind of, not always, but like sometimes it can get really intricate and be like, oh, like what can I do to get out of this situation? And almost always there's like a line to really, really efficiently maneuver through it.
A lot of Ivion games end where the person who wins starts their turn with like 4 silence and 3 disarm and 1 slow, but they've got like 5 actions. Their opponent is at 3, and they basically have to Like they end up winning by playing like 6 specific cards in the specific order to get rid of the control, so they can finally get like one kind of single strike in to finish the game. So
Yeah.
control's really cool. And it's I think the kind of the thing you discover as you play more Ivion is it's a lot easier to get rid of than it seems. The one control is not as crippling as or not as damaging as one. It doesn't straight up take away one resource because a lot of times you can play cards in a certain way to completely ignore control.
Right. It's kind of designed to make you feel like you're breaking out of your chains, and you can like usually manage that and really feel like that unstoppable force.
Yes, and I have a sneaking suspicion that Aislyn is going to do the one thing that doesn't remove control but does remove actions.
Oh, you think so?
I have a feeling there's a warp fire in my future.
I think there is. That is a good observation because I do believe that that is the next card I am going to play. So that is going to cost me 1 action and 2 power to play. It's fairly expensive, but it's got a pretty good effect. So
Yeah,
it's got
so
range 2. I'm still within range. It's an attack. I'm going to deal 5 damage to Aaron, and I'm going to stun him so he loses a resource. And it's got a kind of a special effect the way it interacts with stun. I gain a resource of each type that Aaron did not lose. So it kind of, the thought is that it's inverting his resources, warping it, as you could say. So this is our first time that we're actually seeing some damage occur. So we get to move Aaron's health tracker down a notch
to 35. Yeah. So an interest. Did you mention that stun isn't control yet, or should I? Or stun
Oh,
isn't spending?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So we're pretty exact with our wording in Ivion, and um, when control is removed by spending resources, uh, one of the few ways to have a resource leave your pool, but without spending it, is through stun. Stun makes you lose a resource. It does not. It is not me spending it. So when I lose an action here from Warp Fire, it will just be gone. I don't get to get rid of any disarm from it, which is really good for Aislyn. So
It is good for me, and I like it a lot.
I lose
It
that action,
helps.
and Aislyn gets to gain a resource of each type I did not lose. Well, I didn't lose power, so you gain a
Right.
power.
I do. I do gain a power. So lucky me, Warp Fire actually only cost -1, -1. Awesome. So yeah, I got the damage. I stunned him. This card's now resolved. Going to my discard. My turn continues, and I get to keep pummeling him because I got him in a good spot.
Yeah, she did.
So Errant, Errant, the character that Aaron is playing, two close words there, is a melee character. So I am going to try to slow him, to stop him from getting to me. So I'm going to play Enfeeble. It's a fairly basic attack. You're going to see a lot of these in Ivion. It's a -1/+1. That's a lot of cards cost 1 action and gain 1 power. It's pretty standard. But that also means that they don't do too much here. So it's only going to deal 4 damage, but it's going to slow him 1. And slow is the one special type of control in that, in addition to it stopping any card that has slow highlighted, it also means that you can't spend an action or an initiative to move while you're slowed. So you're effectively immobilized while you're slowed.
Right.
So Aaron's going to have to get rid of that before he wants to be able to move next to me and start attacking me with his sword stuff.
So I'll put that right there. And
Yeah.
I get 1, 2, 3, 4 damage.
I can't forget to actually spend and gain the resources. So I'm at 2 and 5 here now. And you know, I want Aaron to be even further from me. He'll come back to me at some point, so I don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to play one final attack card in my combo here. I'm going to
Begony.
play, as we like to call it, Begony. Actually, Be Gone. It's called Be Gone for people who, speak English.
You're not
Uh,
you're not a fan of the Greek classics, or do you call it Antigone? I guess that's a little bit of a
that is an
highbrow
obscure reference.
Oedipus Rex reference, but a- anyway, be gone, targeting me.
Yeah, so I'm the Enchantress in this picture, blasting him away with my force magic. Oops. So I'm gonna hit him for 4, and then once again I get to travel him up to 1 tile away. As we had discussed range before, this is away. So Aaron has been knocked into the lake. I splashed you into the lake.
Yeah,
Go away.
well,
Get
that's
out
okay.
of my
I
forest.
started on a waterfall, so like we're not. It's okay. We're
That's
used to it. We're already wet.
fair. Fair enough.
All right.
So I spent that action. I would have gained power, but again, I was at the maximum. So I'm not going to actually gain that power, unfortunately. Um, so at this point, I'm fairly low on cards in my hand. I'm getting low on actions. I'm going to need to find ways to get back up next turn, but that means that my turn's more or less over. So I'm going to pass to you and cackle maniacally because I'm an enchantress.
Of course.
Eee.
All right. So I gain 3 actions. Draw a card.
Mightier Glacier says Greek literature jokes. Stream is too smart for me. Yeah, honestly, I think it's too smart for me too. I didn't really get that reference either.
Okay. So everyone knows about Oedipus Rex because it's a pretty spicy story, but there are other plays um, set in the world of Oedipus Rex, I guess, and another famous one is Antigone. After Oedipus Rex has become blinded, um, and Antigone is the name of his daughter slash sister. Uh, like I said, Oedipus Rex is pretty spicy.
Wow, we're just going deeper.
Anyway, it's Antigone, but it's spelled Antigone.
Right. It's
That's it.
mispronouncing words.
It's not that funny. Yeah.
Mispronouncing words is fun.
There
That's
we
what we can
go.
walk away from with here.
That's the takeaway here. The play's not that good. I really wouldn't strongly recommend it. Anyway, uh,
Oh, ruthless. Hot take.
so back to Ivion. We're going to not be able to play most of our cards, either because we can't play this card because of range, or this one, or this one. Um, we actually could play this one, even though it has a range. Uh, range is only relevant for the parts of cards that mention targets. So in this case, Humble, I wouldn't be able to play it to destroy a card because no cards are within range 2 of me. However, I could choose the second mode, which doesn't mention target, so it can target anyone anywhere. That being said, she has 2 cards, so we are definitely not going to be doing that. So we can ignore that, which leaves us this one, which is the only card that both doesn't have a range and isn't affected by the control we are affected by. So we're going to start by playing Cry Havoc. What I think happens here is I got knocked into this lake, I finally surface, and I just sort of start screaming. Part out of surprise at being knocked into the lake, and part out of just intense anime energy. So we're going to just kind of weeb it up and scream as loud as we can. That
To
costs.
be honest, Ivion has a lot of intense anime energy, even
Yeah,
though it's
really,
not an anime.
I'm really excited to do I guess something that's set in somewhere where we can have like some sort of samurai and whatnot, and just really have that intense anime energy, because there's some real anime energy in Avian, um, and I think that could be so fun. So I
Chat
spend an
says, weeb it up.
exactly. So I spend an action, and I'm gonna get rid of a slow on me because as long as I'm slowed, I can't move, and I'm definitely gonna need to move up before playing cards. So I assume this card resolves Aislyn.
Yeah, you got it.
All
Not
right.
gonna stop that.
So that goes to the discard, and I gain a power. Let's flip these cards back over in our hands. So in my hand. So this says use your second wind. So normally in Ivian, when a player is reduced to 20 hit points, they second wind. So I was at 27, just so I don't forget that. When you get knocked to 20 hit points or less, you flip this over, and you get to draw. Oh, over there. Draw 5 cards, put 2 in your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck. This is like a nice way to make sure that if you're behind, you're gonna have something that's gonna maybe help you uh, muscle through and maybe get enough momentum to tilt the scales a bit. However, I'm impatient. I'm a young knight and I'm here to just kill this evil sorceress. So I'm going to play Cry Havoc, which is use your second wind. So the way I do this in Tabletop Simulator is I like to flip over the last card in my hand, draw 5 cards, and then pick 2. Uh, Aislyn trusts me, and it's
Oh, I'm writing down every single card here.
okay.
Just
Good,
ready to
good.
counter everything you do.
So immediately I see 2 battle. That seems really good for this situation. First off, it's heroic, which means she can't do any like control stuff to stop me. It allows me to target her because it doesn't have a range. I can just travel 2 tiles towards her. So we're definitely gonna be picking up that from our 2.
This is a good opportunity. So let's talk about heroic.
Ooh, actually, really quick, I forgot chivalry. I was chivalrous, so I healed 2 hit points.
Oh, good points.
Right. Go ahead and talk about heroic.
Yeah, so like we talked about before, cards have that little control banner in the bottom left that shows which types of control they're affected by. However, to battle just has a shield with a sword in it there. So what does that mean? Well, it means that it just simply cannot be affected by control. It's uncontrollable. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter what kinds of control you're affected by. You can play it regardless. This is super useful in certain situations. Like, for example, this is an errant card. Errants are usually always melee range. That means that if they get slowed really badly when they're far away from their opponent, it can be really crippling for them. However, 2 Battle doesn't care if you're slowed, so you can use it to get within range regardless. Plus, it helps you get rid of control, which is really good too.
Yes. It's a really nice pick here. I'm actually quite happy to see that card. So we have a few other options here. Um, Clean Thy Blade actually seems really nice because I think this is a great opportunity for me to do a lot of damage to Aislyn and play a lot of attacks. Uh, and I think, will I be able to get I don't know if I'll be able to get to 4 power to play both Cut Down and Clean Thy Blade, though. So it might not be entirely worth it.
Oh, Aaron's doing the crunching.
I'm doing the number crunch. We're thinking. If I go, no, that should work. That should work just fine. Cause yeah, as long as Aislinn doesn't play anything,
As long
and
as I just do nothing.
as long as you do literally nothing the entire turn.
By the way, Aaron, it is 1, but I think because we got delayed so
Yeah,
much.
let's just finish up this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? We're gonna we're gonna take it. We're gonna believe. Yeah.
Gotta
Uh,
believe. Believe in the heart of the cards, as they say in Yu-Gi-Oh!
yeah. What I'm trying to think now is would I would I do that in this game? If you're at 2 cards in hand, you've got 1 and 5. Like I'm pretty sure you're either carrying a Scorn or a Spellbind at that point.
No, definitely not.
No, that would
I
be
wouldn't do that to
silly.
you.
Yeah. So I think we're going to. We're still grabbing it. I think this is probably fine. So we're putting these cards at the bottom.
And just as a quick reminder, what Aaron was doing there was he was using his second wind. He looked at the top 5 cards of his deck, chose 2 to put into his hand, put the other 3 on the bottom.
Yes. Sweet. So I'm going to play not Daring Strike. I'm going to play to Battle.
Okay.
Yep. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
Oh,
no, go
no.
ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm doing it. All right. So Aaron is playing two battle, which is super useful because one, it only costs one action, and he gets to move two tiles, which is really efficient as well. So it's basically like a charge. He just charges in, covers a lot of ground really quickly, kind of nullifies my Be Gone card I played last turn, which is too bad for me, but this is his time to shine. So you get there, Aaron.
Yeah, I do. And now I'm thinking, is it worth it to sit next to this Hush? And I don't think it is. I don't think I get anything from that. So we're gonna play the two battle and move up there. That gives me a power. Then we have one disarm on it, so we're really just gonna have this one option. We're gonna play Daring Strike,
Oh, another great choice.
and that gets rid of the last disarm. So if this resolves, it's gonna do 4 damage to Aislyn.
And just a quick note on that disarm. Once again, Daring Strike's an attack, so it would usually be affected by disarm. He wouldn't be able to play it while he's disarmed. However, it's heroic because it's so daring. So it's not affected by disarm or any control for that matter. So really good play there. I will not play anything. So Daring Strike goes through.
All right, so a few things happen. For starters, I deal 4 damage and I stun her. She gets to choose which resources she loses.
Yeah,
So,
so I'm gonna take 4. That knocks me down to 35 because I started with 1 less hit point. How dare you strike me? Dare you? So yeah, that power is gone. I'm gonna lose a power.
all right, this Daring Strike goes to the discard and I gain a power. Additionally, I have a feat, Strive for Glory. After one of my attacks resolves, targeting her, I can discard an ability card to do 2 more damage to them, and I am going to discard Humble. So instead of doing the
Oh.
effects on this, I'm discarding it to Strive for Glory to do 2 additional damage.
And that's a good use of humble because I was so low on cards in hand.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
think I was going to get much from it.
that's a really aggressive feat because it kind of destroys your hand, but you get extra damage out of it.
Right, and you'll see at the end of this turn that that's not really something I'm going to be that concerned about. So I feel like I definitely. So I had 1 power before. I played 2 battle and Daring Strike. I should only be at 3 power. There we go.
Oh, fixed it up.
Yep. I was
Real quick,
thinking. Oh, go ahead.
Mightier Glacier said official competitive Ivion tournaments better have this level of role playing or I'm suing.
Good. You're right. They better. We will have flavor judges as well, just to make sure that like you can be asked about your backstory at any time, and people need to know why you're there. Why are you fighting? It's gonna be big. It's gonna be huge.
In
We're
all seriousness, we really do try to imbue the game with a ton of flavor.
hmm
It's kind of why we chose to make a card game like this that kind of focuses on the skills and abilities that each character has and like focusing on a single character rather than, something like creature combat.
Yes.
Because we felt like it was, in a way, like an untapped space for some really cool imagination, like just some really awesome, interesting, evocative battles in a fantasy environment.
Yeah. So I think that's actually something to touch on very briefly. Is I love creature combat. I'm really big into Magic the Gathering, and I actually really like Keyforge, and I've been playing some Hearthstone lately. But all of those are doing the creature combat model, and it's a very fun game mode and like type of game. But I've never really felt like it's very flavorful. It's kind of hard to like. Magic is really abstract if you think about it. You're like, I summon these soldiers to fight for me, and I don't even know what attacking necessarily means, but I'm a planeswalker, and I don't know. It's a little abstract. With Ivion, we tried to basically make something that doesn't have to be abstract at all. It is just literally you are a character and you're fighting, and when you are attacking, it's because you are swinging your sword at them. Uh, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool, but yeah, it's really hard to find games on the market that aren't card games on the market that aren't creature combat. So mad props to Level 99 Games with their game Exceed, which is another great
Yeah.
example of this, because they actually took it a step further, and they made a game based on like a side-scrolling fighting game, which I think is super cool. Really smart job. So if you ever hear this level 99 games, that's awesome work. Super I'm super happy that you tried something new, and it has been doing great. So congratulations. Um, but
Yeah.
back to Ivion and this game, I'm going to be playing Enchanted Strike.
Cool. Let's see. 5 damage and you make a tile near me enchanted. Oh, well, it makes sense that Enchanted Strike would make Enchanted Terrain. Yeah, that happens. So
I gain a
I'm going to take
power.
5 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ouch.
All right.
That
Then,
hurt real bad, Aaron. Why are you attacking me?
well, because it's on orders of the king.
Oh, well, that's right. The king
You
told
must be.
you.
He said, "Hey, Sir Trelonius." I guess, Sir. You know what? That's his name.
Oh, we have the canon name.
Canon name Trelonius. I'm gonna put it on the box cover. Anyway, this is Trelonius, I suppose. I've always thought this art looks like he's like found a bug on his arm or something, and he's screaming like, "Oh my gosh, there's
Oh,
a bug on
God.
my arm."
That's the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Anyway, Trelonius over here. I honestly don't remember how we got there, but he's gonna cut you down into size. He's gonna play cut down for
Oh,
4
my God.
damage and 2 disarm.
Ouch.
Gonna do some
Well, this is an Errant's
smack.
attack combo in action for
Oh yeah,
sure.
we are in my wheelhouse right now. This is what we're here for.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Now,
I take 4 damage and I am disarmed twice.
yeah.
I have been cut down to size.
Yeah, so you saw at the start of this turn, she was at full hit points and I was at um what, 29? And already I've been able to keep up with her. Where and Ifian is a very violent game, and damage totals can change very quickly. So you
Yeah,
gotta feel your toes.
that's kind of a thing about the game, especially as you continue to play more and more, you're going to find that you end up kind of like circling each other. There are some turns where like no damage is dealt, but then when someone finds an opening where they can get in and really cause some damage, things can change very, very quickly.
Yes. And is this the top of turn 3?
I think so. It's either turn 3 or 4.
Yeah, no, so you went first. I moved up, played Judgment. This is turn 2.
No way. This is turn
Totally.
3.
I moved my first turn. No, this is turn 3. This is turn 3. Yeah, because I didn't do anything on my first turn. Yeah, this is turn 3. Okay. Yeah, Evian games usually take 4 to 5 turns. 5 turns I think is more normal. 4 turns would be a pretty quick game. Um, but yeah, it's just a very it's a quick game. I like it a lot.
Well, it totally depends on the matchup.
Right.
Like some characters are really, really good at controlling it and slowing it down if you're
Yes.
into that kind of thing. Other characters do everything in their power to speed it up and win as fast as possible.
It also is a lot quicker when you're not streaming and just talking about the game constantly. We're huge blabbermouth. We just ramble.
We're
Uh,
blabbering. We're going to blabber some more actually because Mightier Glacier just asked, has anyone managed to get a turn 1 victory yet?
the I don't. It has been hypothesized, and it is possible to win on turn 1. There have certainly been games that are over on turn 1. There is a very powerful combo deck in the meta that is basically a giant copies himself halfway across the map, and then that copy is able to cheat out or play for free the most powerful attack in the game, which does, I think, 20 damage and a bunch of other bad stuff. So there's a deck, it's called True Rays Ancient, which basically it's kind of that like the ancient just like teleports behind you, and and then just one-shots you. The game doesn't actually end on that turn usually, though. It's usually just, oh, you've lost half of your hit points, and you're, severely just buried under control. So
That's also a super specific combination of cards you have to draw.
yeah,
Anyways,
go ahead.
anyways.
I play
Um,
Clean Thy Blade.
you
Last
play
card in my hand.
my blade. Ooh, that is a great card to play as your final card. How many attack cards did you play this turn, Aaron?
I have played 3 attack cards.
Daring Strike, Enchanted Strike, and Cut Down. So Aaron gets to draw 3 cards from Clean My Blade and fill his hand back up.
You're not going to counter it?
Um,
I'm just saying, Aislyn, this is
well,
a great
oh,
counter.
I totally forgot that Spellbind was
Heroic.
heroic.
It's really strong. Spellbind,
Well,
I was
when
kind
you
of
put it that way.
I was doing this like demonstration of like, yeah, if I didn't know what was in your hand, I would take this risk. Knowing this was in your hand, this is a horrible line for me. This is a very powerful card.
So Aaron played a card which gives me a chance to respond. Usually you can't play a card in response. However, when a card has that little purple exclamation point, that means it's instant. So you can interrupt whatever Aaron was doing. So instead of Aaron getting his fantastic payoff for his cool combo, I'm going to interject here and say, you know what? Actually, no.
Yep, that is what has happened. Okay, that's unfortunate.
It's even super flavorful because we have the Enchantress here, kind of like corrupting the Errant. So
is that
you
an Errant?
consider
I guess
yourself
that's
corrupt.
me. I guess that's little Trailonius. Okay.
Little Trailonius.
All right.
Yes,
So
so.
I don't have any responses because I have no cards, literally 0 cards in my hand. So we are going to get refunded, and then we are going to get some of these bad boys, which will slap
So
down.
something important to note here, what happened is Aaron got silenced one, disarmed one. Those are types of control. Aaron's card, Clean Thy Blade, when it was going to resolve, had to check
Right,
one
good
more
point.
time. If it could resolve, Clean Thy Blade is affected by silence and disarm. So it definitely could not happen.
Yeah, and even if Aislyn had only applied one type of control here, like silence, it would still not resolve. This is not a and, this is an or logical gate. Anyway, so yeah, this fails to resolve. I get refunded the resources, but lose the card. That's really too bad.
Also, it's even better for me because remember that Cut Down disarmed me twice? Well, Spellbind cost 2 resources, so all that disarm that was on me is now gone.
Because she spent resources. Yes, it's a really bad situation. For me, I am going to spend 2 power. Also, I don't think I gained an initiative this turn.
I trust you.
I don't think I did, because I just went and played Cry Havoc. Well, we'll do that in a second. Anyway, I'm going to spend those. Actually, we're going to do our initiative first. I spend my initiative to draw a card. Okay, I can't play that right now because I don't have any actions. Because Aislyn is so prolific with her stunning, I think I'm just gonna spend the resources now to get rid of control.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, sometimes that's actually the right call.
Right. I could have saved them because they weren't going to go anywhere. I wasn't going to suddenly try to like gain 4 power and miss out on some, but I just think that she's been doing a lot of stunning. I would rather use them. I kind of figure use them or lose them. Now, at the end of my turn, 2 things over here trigger, which is really nice. The first is Valor. I did use my second wind at the start of the turn. I used that Cry Havoc when I did my anime scream. So since I've screamed loud and proud this game, and I'm ending my turn near an enemy, I get to draw a card. So we'll draw a card from that. And Errantry says, and this is I guess another picture of me screaming. At the end of your turn, if I have 3 or less cards in my hand, I may draw a card. 3 or less, draw a card.
So
Okay.
that's really like what we're seeing here with this feat loadout for Aaron's aggressive deck is it's rewarding him for just going in and dealing as much damage as possible, playing all of his cards, and then just getting his hand filled right back up to do it again next turn.
Right. That's basically the idea of the Errant is I may run out of cards, I may get a lot of stuff countered, but I am never going to end my turn with less than 2 cards in my hand, so we're ultimately okay with it. We're here to attack, and if I'm spending my cards to get them get countered, they're still doing their job. It is your turn, Aislyn.
Okay, well, let's see what the defensive Enchantress can do. So, first of all, I gain 3 actions. I gain my initiative. I draw a card. And my enchanting passive triggers. So, once again, I'm presented with this choice. This turn, I might be using my third and final feat, Explode. So I'm going to consider that. However, it looks like we ended up leaving an Enchanted Terrain token on the map over here. So I'm actually going to place this new one behind me so I can retreat. Because who needs to be right next to each other? We don't need to be this close. We can move away. So first, disagree. So first of all, I'm going to spend an action to move back because I don't want to be near this errant who's trying to kill me. So I consume this Enchanted Terrain, gain a power, Majesty triggers, so you get stunned. However, you were smart and removed your resources before I could stun them away. So that was a good call. I did that. Now I'm going to play one of my feats, my only active feats in this deck, which is Explode. So I'm going to put that in front of me right here.
Thank you.
So first of all, that costs 2 power, so I lose 2 power.
Uh-oh, Aislyn. Aislyn.
Oh no!
You messed up.
I've made a mistake. Guys. Okay, so the problem here is that Explode removes terrain in a target tile. So once again, we have to obey the range here, and it's orthogonal, not diagonal. So I actually left range of that tile to explode it. So I cannot explode it. It's too far away from me. Yikes.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Okay.
Oh, nice. You figured it out.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Awesome. I didn't even know you could do that. That's really neat.
Yeah, I discovered it a little bit ago when I was trying to do Warhammer distances. Anyway.
Look, girls just want to make things explode. So we're going to find a way to make this work here. So first of all, I'm going to use my initiative to draw a card instead of playing Explode, because that can't work.
Yep.
Okay, well, I have an idea. I can still make this happen. So I'm going to play a different card in my hand. I'm going to play Sleep. Go to sleep, young knight. Rest now.
And as we saw in my hand, I don't have any responses, so this happens.
Yes, okay, cool. So I spend 1 action. I gain 1 power. I am within range of Errant because this card targets an opponent, not a tile, and Errant is 2 tiles away from me. So I slow to him, which means he can't move. He can't play cards that are affected by slow. And a tile near him becomes Enchanted Terrain. That is very useful for me right now. So you know what? I'm just going to put it in the tile Errant is in for maximum aesthetic effect for our light show that's about to happen.
Okay.
And then once that's resolved, now that there's an Enchanted Terrain tile that is within range of 2, I am going to play Explode.
All right, and this is outdated. I think that Explode does 4 damage now.
Oh, does it? Oh, you know, I didn't update
You took that away from me. I remember. It was 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
We frequently have discussions about balancing.
I think it's the right call, maybe. I did like it at 5, but it's
5 is a
now.
lot of damage for a feat at 0-2. Yikes.
It is a lot.
So we are actually saying that this does 4 damage, not 5. Unfortunately, my blast is a little smaller than I would have hoped for. But still, I get to snap my fingers and Aaron's Enchanted Terrain tile explodes around him.
Also, I think it's worth noting, this art is incredible. Our artist himself said this was just a really fun piece to work at. It's just this girl. If you can kind of notice with her left hand, she's snapping her fingers and cackling maniacally as she causes some horrible explosion. So I don't know.
Like I said, girls just want to make things go explode.
I think that art is just phenomenal.
I love it too.
Yeah.
She's just clearly having so much fun.
Yeah. Not to toot our own horns or anything, but it's a very beautiful game. So,
quick update on the chat. Alden Ward joined us. Hey, Alden.
Hey,
Alden is
Alden
one
Ward.
of our longtime fans. Thank you for being an amazing member of the community.
Thanks, Alden.
You're awesome.
Yep.
Okay. So where was I? I made you explode. And as Alden pointed out, it's 4 damage. Thank you for the confirmation. I have 3 power, which is kind of honestly a bit of an awkward spot for me right now. I'm really low on cards in my hand. I want to play defensively and keep him away, but I'm not going to be able to do that very well unless I can kind of build my defenses back up.
I am glad I did not keep any actions around.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm hoping I'll get an opportunity to play that card.
Man,
we'll see.
That could have been bad.
Yes, it could have.
Oh,
you dodged a bullet. I'm actually a little concerned about my situation here. I'm worried Aaron's going to be able to do a lot of damage, but we'll see. I'm going to move 1 tile back, kind of play it a little safe. And with that, I'll pass to you.
All right. So let's take a look at my side. We get to draw a card, gain 3 actions, gain 2 life because we are still chivalrous.
That is going to build up, isn't it? That's going to be a problem. Curse you in your favor from the lady.
Indeed.
More lore drops.
Yep. Now the lady is the this spirit that lives in the realm of Calabria that knights swear fealty to. We don't know much about her. There's a little bit revealed in the stories. There's obviously more, but yeah, no, she's this enigmatic being that the knights rally behind.
That's
okay.
Right.
I am slowed.
Yes.
And I get an initiative.
According to the great plan, you have been slowed. In fact, you're actually sleeping right now. You fell asleep.
Oh yeah, no, I'm napping.
You even fell asleep in my tower. I tucked you in.
Oh, thank you. Okay, we need to... You know what? We're just gonna go on a journey. I have heard tales that somewhere in this lake is a ancient relic. I guess I've been reading some King Arthur. So we got our lake relics we need to go pick up.
That doesn't look like a lake. That looks like a great dungeon to me.
Okay. First, you don't know anything about me. So
oh, well, sorry.
So back up. Trelaonius knows what he's doing. Sir Trelaonius, this is a lake. It may not look like it on the art. There's a relic in there and a lake in there, I promise. Whoa, that is not what I meant to do. Let's get that back forward. Okay, I'm going to play Relic Site. Relic Site's a pretty weird card. I have to play it at least 3 tiles away from me. But once I enter that Relic Site, I become chivalrous, gain a random relic, and then destroy the Relic Site. Aislyn, this should have the chivalrous symbol on it.
Yes, it should.
In the rules text.
I will make a note right now.
Yeah. Anyway.
Fixing the game in real time.
That costed 2 actions, so I spent 2 resources there, which I'll spend. I'm going to spend an initiative to move over here. I get to enter the Enchanted Terrain and gain a power. Finally, let's see. I think I'll just move over here. And I did that to get further away from her, so she has to spend more resources to move up.
Oh, because you're headed off to your relic site.
Yes.
Going on a quest while we're fighting? What are you doing? We're having a
I'm
duel
getting
here.
a level up. I'm getting gear. We're
Doesn't seem very
Hey,
chivalrous of
you
you.
you haven't ever played League of Legends. Getting weapons and items in the middle of a fight is very common. Uh,
Fair.
End of turn. I don't get Valor because I'm not near an enemy, but Errantry does trigger because I have 3 or less cards in my hand, and I get to draw a card. Okay.
I hope you do not get a good relic. But I
Oh,
am excited to see which relic you get.
oh, these have not been updated in a little bit, but that's okay. We'll just play with what's printed. Um, Go ahead, Aislyn.
Okay. Oh, we have a floating Enchanted Terrain token here. Let's put that back down. All right, so gain 3 actions.
Mm-hmm.
Gain an initiative. Draw a card. Then I get to place Enchanted Terrain. So I didn't actually expect you to run away from me, but so this is interesting. I'm going to put this here.
Oh, whoops. That one.
I got a pretty good card. I'm actually really glad I saw this card here. You know, let's play Ire. I clench my fist in anger.
Grr.
Grr, why did this knight run away?
Okay.
Grr. So that costs 2 power. I'm going to draw 2 cards, then discard a card. So it's a little chaotic, but I get to craft my hand here a little bit. Let's see, what do we got? I could do that. Oh, that would be so mean. That would be so mean.
Oh, don't you dare.
I don't know if I have the heart. I don't think I have the heart to do
You
it.
can get rid of this card.
Oh, but I like that one. It hits so hard and is amazing. No, you can't drag that away.
I can. I can do it.
I think I'm going to get rid of this one. I don't want it. And now that I only have 1 power, I can actually play a different card in my hand that I was hoping to play last turn. I'm going to play Inner Fire. I love this card. It's super simple, but it just feels really good to play.
Yeah, so... go ahead.
It doesn't cost an action. It doesn't cost any resources, in fact. It gives you 1 power, just straight up. However, you can only play it if you have 2 or less power. So I had too much power last turn. I couldn't actually play it. But I'm going to do it this time. It also draws a card, so it basically just gives you more resources.
Yeah, so you might be... Any Magic players watching might look at that and think, that card seems really busted, and it's an incredibly strong card. Yes. So you're right on the money there.
It also helps that it has beautiful art. God, I love the art for Inner Fire. So cool.
A little detail there, actually, because I wanna, I guess, gush a little bit about how we do why this card is balanced when it wouldn't be balanced in Magic.
Ooh, okay.
Because it's kind of interesting. Because if there was a card that just said add 1 mana, draw a card, that would be put into every single Magic deck that was in formats where it was playable. That's because in Magic, your deck is comprised of 60 cards from just a pool. Every deck comes from the same pool of cards. In Ivion, we get to make busted cards like this because not every deck is going to have access to that, because decks are made from 3 distinct pools. So,
right.
Instead of a deck just being the 60 best cards in Magic, or it's the 60 best cards in Ivion, your deck can only play from 3 different pools. So if the top 4 cards are in 4 different archetypes, a deck can't run all of them. So yes, Inner Fire, if this was in a game that didn't have that style of hero crafting deck building, this wouldn't be something you could make. But Ivion is really well designed so that you can put in really fun and exciting and strong cards like this. Yeah.
That's a good point. It's kind of designed. Each archetype is its own insular thing, so they can afford to have really, really powerful effects.
Indeed.
All right, so I played Inner Fire. I drew my card. Where are we at? I've got 3 actions, 2 power. I think I'm going to spend an initiative to draw another card. because I'm just so low on cards in my hand here. Aaron's also pretty far away. That relic he's going to get is going to be tough. But I can make it a little more painful for him. I think I'm going to spend an action to move up. Let's switch it up a little bit. We're going to go up this time.
All right.
uh,
I lose
so,
power.
yeah, I move into Enchanted Terrain, which gives me a power. And because I'm so majestic, one of my passives, Aaron is stunned by my majesty. Then I am going to play Hush, a second version, a second card of Hush. So there's 2 on the board now. I'm going to play it right there. Costs an action, gains a power.
Aislyn? Oh, oh. I don't think Aislyn. I don't think I can hear you, Aislyn. One sec, folks. Let's see. I did silence her. And yes, Mighty Glacier, I am tooting my own horn a little bit. I didn't even come up with that deck building thing, but I'm gonna take credit for it. It's definitely me, not Aislinn, doing all of the work there. I think if I don't say anything, we're gonna go hop into another room real quick. We're gonna be right back. Aislinn, did you break everything? Okay, well, Aislinn, any luck? Apparently she's having some connectivity issues, which is fun. Well, I'm pretty sure I know. I'm pretty sure I know what Alden War's favorite archetype is, but I'm curious. Okay, I think Aislinn is gone. Maybe. Well, I guess we can take this as an opportunity to talk a little bit about relics. So when I entered this tile on my turn, I'm going to be getting a relic, which is going to be a random one of these 8 cards. They are mostly just you just draw them and you do what they say. They are all heroic. They're not. Nothing is going to really stop them, and they all do a different powerful effect. We added these as kind of our goal to be add some more randomness to Ivion, or add some more variance. Previously, in the last set, the game was really chess-like. There was not a lot of random elements in it, and uh, we found that in a fight between 2 players, like the new player, the more experienced player would pretty much always win. And we do want experience and knowing how to play the game well to matter, but we didn't want it to have as much of an impact as it did before, because it's really a really easy way to turn people off from a game is by making it so a new player just can't win. So by adding some more random mechanics to Ivion, we were able to make I don't know, games both simultaneously more exciting and just a little more chaotic, which I think has helped a whole lot. And Sorcerer has some mechanics for that as well, especially in Invoker. And Relics are, I think, the biggest example of that. Let's see if we've got any word from Aislyn. I think she's probably going to end up needing to restart Discord. The problem is she is the host. So if she tries to restart her computer,
Uh,
oh, she's back.
hello?
Hey, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I think
Okay.
my Discord just broke for a good 5 or 10 minutes there.
Well, we are happy to have you back. I just was talking about relics and how we were trying to add more variance into this new Ivion experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit more variance, a little bit more exciting bursts of crazy plays and yeah, I don't know.
Right.
It's just really these products are a lot more
Fun.
variance. They can cause a lot more chaos. There's a little bit more chaos in the mix than there was before, which I personally believe has made the game more fun.
And
Some people
what do you
might
know?
disagree.
You're only like a professional game designer at Bungie. You don't know anything. This is just
I don't.
amateur
I'm
opinion.
learning every day, as we all are, right?
So, you just played a hush. It's still your turn.
Um, yes.
Yeah.
Let's get back in the swing of things here.
Right.
So yeah, okay. So I moved up. I played the hush. I'm very concerned about whatever that relic site is going to do. We will see. But with that, I think I'm just going to pass the turn for all the time it took for that to happen.
All right. Well, that works for me. We're going to get a relic, which is pretty exciting. Also, the chivalry is starting to pay off quite nicely. Getting back up to 27.
Yeah,
Oh
grr.
man, that scrolls really fast.
Stop being so chivalrous, Aaron.
And we draw a card. Okay, first thing we are going to do is spend an initiative to move into Relic Site. So, Relic Site, when I enter, I gain a random relic and become chivalrous, then destroy Relic Site. So we'll get this out of the way.
Oh boy, here we go.
All right, the relic that I uncovered from the lake is Symbol of Wrath.
Oh no.
Okay, so this one is the damage dealing relic. It's just aggressive. It immediately does 7 damage to her.
Ouch.
So you're down to 16.
1, 2, 3. Second wind. 4, 5, 6, 7. Owie. So before I second wind, Aaron's card's going to fully resolve.
What were you at before?
I think I was at 23.
So
I go down to 16.
yeah, you went down to 17.
Oh, my bad.
I got my eye on you.
Oh,
So
I couldn't get away with cheating.
You also get stunned twice.
Yes, when a lightning bolt goes straight through your chest, complications generally ensue.
Oh, the keepsake of Gwaine the Red. Ooh, we have a little bit of lore. I didn't realize we actually talked about the historic knights in the flavor text ever. That's cool.
Yes, Gwaine the Red.
Yeah.
He has a symbol of wrath that smites people.
Yeah, there's a whole story about the knights who founded the kingdom of Calbria. That's cool. There's lore.
As Kitty Catby says in chat, for getting a lightning bolt sent straight through your chest. I hate it when that happens.
It's pretty
I
rough.
hate it too.
I will say, like, if you get struck by lightning and the worst thing that happens is like 2 stun, I mean, that's not a bad deal. You take that deal. There are worse things that can happen in fiction when you get struck by lightning. So we're actually pretty generous here.
At least I didn't get turned inside out.
What sort of media are you consuming? That's horrifying. But on that gruesome note, I have my relic. I did my damage. Aislyn needs to second wind.
Oh yeah, I do. At least I get that. Second winding is pretty fun. So I'm going to flip my card over, look at 5 cards. What can I use to totally ruin everything that Errant is doing? Let's see. That's a good one. That's a good one. I don't think I need those. No looking over here. I've got fun tricks that I'm gonna be unleashing, so to speak.
Yeah, your hand's being just streamed, all of it, so, you know.
No, it's my second wind.
Everyone is looking. There will be no surprise.
Dang it. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna take these, even though you're looking.
Yep,
Because I like them.
that sounds like it. This is Aislyn's favorite card, whether or not she admits it. She always plays this. It is backbreaking.
No, not my favorite card. So many cards that are candidates to be favorite cards. This is just a good one.
All right. So
anyways, that's my second one.
And now it is back to my turn.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, we are going to spend an action to move.
Also, by the way, did you just like come out of that dungeon with just this lightning bolt in your hand and just strike me through the heart with it?
I mean, I think this art is very open to interpretation as to what's going on, but I like to think that I've ascended and I'm like up in the top left, like floating with storm clouds circling me as I zapped you. But I guess it was one use, so I guess I got. I think I stuck it in my charger or something. It's recharging now. I'll use it later.
That makes sense.
So Errant, we're moving here. I'm gonna cast Judgment on you a second time.
Oh, gosh. Well, I think this time Judgment is going to happen. I have been judged. Consider me judged.
Right, and so when you put attach a card to somebody, you just put it up in this top bar here, however you wish. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, it's kind of an open-ended space where you can do whatever you want with.
Yeah, you said it exactly correct. Okay. So
one more thing I want to say is that this is the first card we've played that actually attaches to another character. So normally we've been attaching cards like Hush or Relic Sight to the board itself. But cards can also attach to players. Mm-hmm. So Errant has, as we've said, judged me. So Judgment is now attached to the Enchantress. And you might wonder, well, how does that, like, what does that mean for range of this card? Like, where is it? It's always going to be in the tile that the Enchantress is in.
Right. So we have cast Judgment on you, and now we have found you wanting. And we're going to play Chastise.
Ooh. Oh.
To do 3 disarm and make you dishonor the Code of Chivalry.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, so I'm disarmed. Ooh. Yeah. No, I can't deal with that, unfortunately. So I'm disarmed thrice, as we like to say in the business. And I dishonor the Code of Chivalry without even dishonoring the code.
Which triggers...
That's unfortunate.
Triggers Justice or Judgment. Yeah.
Triggers Judgment. I take 2 damage. Ouch. Down to 14. This is starting to look not so good for me.
And at the end of my turn, I get Errantry and I get a draw card.
Oh yeah, because you had 3 cards or less.
All right. What does this say? Okay. It is your turn.
All right. So gain 3 actions. Gain an initiative. Draw a card. Trigger enchanting. Where am I going today? You know, I just kind of feel like we're going to end up leaving this dreadful place again, so we're going to put it there. I'm disarmed 3 times, which is too bad. However, I think I have an efficient way to get out of this. I also drew some pretty sweet cards, so let's see what we can do this turn. First of all, I'm going to start off with Wild Magic, another card that attaches to the battlefield. And if you haven't noticed already, the Enchantress has a lot more cards that attach to the battlefields than the Errant does. The Errant focuses a lot more on just dealing direct damage, whereas the Enchantress tries to control a little more, kind of manipulate the battlefield, turn things into to her favor. So we're going to control the battlefield a little more with that. remove a disarm, spend an action, gain a power, down to 2 disarm. Now I have some cards I want to play that are affected by disarm, which is too bad because I can't do them yet. So I think we're going to use an initiative to draw.
Ooh, okay. You got all 3.
I got all 3 singes. I got my full house.
You got the full lineup.
Unfortunately, it's affected by disarm, which makes things difficult.
Yeah.
I'm actually in a bit of a sticky situation here because there's not much I can do that isn't affected by disarm. So I might just have to spend some resources to change that here.
Did you start in the corner or start right there? You started right there.
I did, yeah.
You might have wanted to use your enchanting trigger to put an Enchanted Terrain adjacent to me, so you could play Explode, which isn't affected by disarm.
Oh, that's a good point. That was a line I had. I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll have to remember it for next time. But for now, this is where I'm at. Okay, I think I have a plan formulated here. So I think to recover from my mistake, I'm going to just straight up spend 2 power to remove this 2 disarm. It's gone. Now I'm going to play Ember Crash.
And if I remember correctly, I don't think I have any. Nope, I don't have any answer for that.
Fantastic. That's what I like to hear.
Yep.
So that costs 2 actions. Not a lot of cards cost 2 actions, but some do. It also gives 2 power, which is nice. It also deals quite a bit of damage, more than any cards that cost 1 action usually do. And I also get to create 2 tiles near him that are difficult terrain. So this is interesting because I don't want him to be able to utilize it very well. So I think I'm going to put one of them in the tile he's in. And then another one, I could actually put them behind him. I'm not sure if that's what I want to do, though. This is going to turn on my Singes, my Explode. I think I'll put it right there. So I'm actually kind of going off on a combo here, which is pretty cool. This goes to my discard. Now, do I want to play the Ensorcel, Aaron? I kind of want to play the Ensorcel because you have a bunch of power. No, I'm going to do it. I love dealing damage, guys. Dealing damage is the best thing ever.
Oh, so
let's go for it.
Ensorcel Explode?
I am. I'm going to play a card called Ensorcel. So this card costs 1 action, 3 power, which is all the resources I had left. I have no resources after this.
Right. So I take 6 damage.
It's gonna hit Aaron for 6 damage. I am ensorceling him. I am using him against himself. The secondary effect of Ensorcel is very powerful. I may play a card of my own, spending any combination of his and my resources to pay. I don't have any resources, so I'm going to spend all of Aaron's resources to play a card. Unfortunately, I don't have anything that will cost 5 power, but I do have Explode, which costs 2 power. So I'm going to spend 2 of Aaron's power to explode the tile next to him. And it's going to be this one, because I don't want Aaron to actually get the Enchanted Terrain that I placed there. And then I'm going to hit him for 4 damage.
So that means I take 4 more. So I go down to 11.
Oh, big damage. Let's go.
Yeah, wow. This is pretty close, actually.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous because you've got a lot of cards left. I think I might be going down, but we'll see. With that was everything I had. I'm exhausted over here. The Enchantress has spent all of her resources, so at the end of the turn, I have 2 cards that trigger effects that are next to Aaron. So Aaron's going to get silenced 2, and he's also going to take 3 damage from my wild magic.
Boom, boom, boom. All right. So it is now my turn, and I gain 2 life.
That's all for me.
From Chivalrous. Then
Staying chivalrous.
3 actions, and I draw a card. Okay.
Oh, it looks like Ivion HCG itself. That's us. I believe Brian has joined the chat. Brian
right, because he's our social media guy. Got this all set up for us. Well,
Yeah.
Aislyn.
Thank you, Brian.
I think you are correct that this is your last day on Earth. Or in
Oh
Calvary.
no.
We are going to spend an initiative to go here, and we're gonna spend 2 actions and 2 power to play Justice. Wait,
Justice.
which does 10 damage. If she had dishonored the code of chivalry since the start of her most recent turn, I would do 3 instances of control to her. That is not the case. She has been chivalrous, I guess. I don't know how
That's
exploding
right.
Enchanted Terrain is chivalrous, but that's I guess for the lady to decide. So I play Justice.
Yeah, and I have no resources, so there's no way I can respond. So I'm going to take 10 damage, which is really bad because now I'm down to 4 health.
And I'm gonna
And if,
discard Proclaim to do 2 more damage.
oh, insult to injury.
Indeed. Injury to
Drive for
insult.
injury to insult. Maybe that's more appropriate.
And then finally I use
Uh-oh.
my
I'm in my death
I
throes.
pull out my long sword and we do like some sort of cool like yeah! Yeah!
Oh my gosh, he's flying
Okay. I
everywhere.
don't know what that was. We're gonna play Gallant Strike for 6 damage. I do 6 damage because I'm chivalrous.
Oh my gosh. And unlike that knight in the illustration, I am not able to deflect it.
You know,
It
this card is
cuts me down.
this card's really good. I
It's
should
like a warrior strike.
Yeah, it's another warrior strike. I should use this more. Wow. 6 damage for
The
-1/+1. Pretty good.
The Enchantress has reached death. Ah!
Rip
Flip her
foul
on her head.
magic user.
Oof.
That-
Oof. She falls to the floor,
And I think
blood pouring from her wounds. She curses the errant one last time.
oh,
How
but
dare you come to my forest and cut me down?
well, I think in Tabletop Simulator, so there's one last thing that we need to finish this stream with.
Before we do that, and I know what you're gonna
Okay,
do.
okay. No, that's all you. You did lose. But go ahead.
Before we do that, I just want to say thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope that this playthrough that honestly went way longer than we thought it would was helpful for learning about the game, showed you kind of how it works, let you know a little more about whether it's for you or someone you know. And if there is someone you know who might like it, let them know about the campaign. We are really, really passionate about this game, and we would love to do anything we can to get it in front of more people who might also be super excited about it.
Right.
And
I think that's a big thing is that we gotta, in order to do that, we need to have the audience. So we want to make this game, but we can't do that without some help from you folks. So yeah, try to get the word out. Be sure to check in on the page frequently if you can. Go to the Kick Track page for Ivion and click the visit project link. Anything to help just show more traffic to the project. Anything helps. And if you've got,
and so,
go ahead.
sorry. And to everyone who's already backed, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It really means the world to us.
It really does. We are so excited and passionate about this, and we're very excited to get it out there. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully, if it wasn't informative, hopefully it was at the very least entertaining. And I think with that, do you want to do the honors?
I will, because I lost, and I'm so mad that I lost. Get out of here. I hate this game. Flip the table.
Boom. Oh, there it goes. All of our hard work.
Gone forever.
All
Thank
right,
you,
and now
everyone.
it's just raining from the sky. I don't know why Tabletop Simulator does what it does. Anyway, yeah, this has been Errant and Aislyn, and I hope you guys have an excellent Thursday. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, everyone.
Goodbye.